The Spy Who Learned Me is the 20th episode of the 23rd season of The Simpsons, directed by Bob Anderson. And it's okay, but I think they could have had a bit more fun with Homer's part of the narrative, and I'll get to Homer in a moment. But the other narrative involves Bart deciding to fatten up Nelson to stop him from being able to physically bully people, which I thought was quite interesting. Maybe not morally a good idea, but it came about because they were watching, Krabappel's class were watching a video about how bad Krusty Burgers are. And this is how we got the idea. And I won't say exactly what happens with it, but I think the direction it took was pretty good. Because I think it all came back down to karma, I think. But I won't say too much more about that. But I enjoyed it. I thought it worked quite well, and I think it also got the right amount of attention. I feel like sometimes with The Simpsons, the subplots don't get enough focus, they're underdeveloped, we don't really see it reach its full potential. Sometimes the subplots are even more interesting than the main narrative, but this one, I think, it actually lasted the perfect length of time. The main focus is on Homer, and Homer suffers a head injury at work. And to stop him from suing, Mr. Burns reluctantly gives him, I think, 8 weeks paid vacation. And he's about to tell his family, but his family are too preoccupied, they don't want to listen. So he realizes he has 8 weeks off. Nobody knows he's got 8 weeks off. He can do anything he wants during the day. And I won't say what he ultimately did. I think what he did was a good idea. I think it was a good decision. But I think they could have had a bit more fun with it first. It kind of went from day one, Homer's off work. Later that day, Homer's doing what he ended up doing. And I think they could have spent a little bit more time with Homer having fun, or, just doing ridiculous things that he normally wouldn't do during the workday. Because ultimately what Homer did do was kind of boring. Had it not lasted for so long, maybe that wouldn't have been the case, but I felt like it was just stretched too thin. It wasn't really that interesting. Had it been shorter, I wouldn't have been bored by it quite so quickly. But had they spent a bit more time setting the scene, having fun, first of all, then I think it might have been a little bit different and it might have been slightly better. So I love the concept, I don't love the execution. I don't think the narrative reached its full potential. I don't think they made it as entertaining as they could have done. It just didn't really appeal to me very much at all. It's not a bad episode. It's not terrible, but I think the pacing needed a little bit of work. I think they needed to spend a bit more time setting things up, which is actually usually the opposite of what I say. Ordinarily, I say, the pacing was slow, it took a while to get anywhere, but actually with this one, I think we needed that little bit of time just to enjoy the wonder of what Homer might end up doing for 8 weeks, where nobody needs him to be anywhere because they think he's at work. And they just didn't, utilize that creativity at all, which is a big shame. But as I said, it's not a bad episode otherwise. It could have been a lot better, but I didn't hate it.